Welcome back to another great week of the Blitz. I'm Abby Jones.
And I'm Kelsey Royalty. And Abs, it's our last episode. Can you believe it?
Seriously, it's hard to believe, but it's been a great run.
Yeah, and we have some really great stuff for you guys. This week, we're going to take a look at some football players and their next steps.
We also have a cheerleading feature with head coach and sponsor, Mackenzie Worley.
We have 2 basketball interviews with Demetrius Dyson and Hannah Nichols.
And last but not least, let's take a look at volleyball season and recap their SoCon championship. Allie Bridges has a story with Erica Pfeiffer.
I am sitting here with Erica Pfeiffer, a senior volleyball player at Sanford University. Erica, thank you for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Okay, first question for you. Despite the fact that you were SoCon champs, which congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Do you think y'all had a successful season?
This was actually my favorite season going into the season. I think that when you measure success, our team measures it by the individual journeys that we all went through this season. Rings and trophies and wins and losses, they're so temporary and those moments are so fleeting. And our coaches taught us a lot this year that success is really in the journey that you go through to reach the destination. And I'm proud of all of us and I'm proud of myself because we worked as a team this year, and a lot of college athletic teams can be so focused on individual self and individual glory. And I think team glory is so much sweeter because when you have a team of 14 girls that work together and put aside their own wants and their own glorifications, then I think that's when you achieve the ultimate success. In the end, we all came together, all 14 of us, and there wasn't a single person that could stop us going into that SoCon championship. So I'm pretty proud of us.
Good. We're proud of you too. So being a senior, what made your senior class so special?
I think the fact that we've been through so much together. There's 6 of us, which is a large senior class to have on a volleyball team. We've all seen the best parts of ourselves and the worst parts, and we've stuck by each other in both circumstances, and I wouldn't wish for a better class to go out with. I love them all so much, and they're sisters that I never thought I would have, but I'm so grateful that I got to be a part of Sanford volleyball and earn 5 more sisters, so it's incredible.
Yeah, so that would be like your core group of friends that you're leaving with.
Absolutely, yes.
Last question for you, Erica. What legacy do you think you're passing on to these freshmen, sophomores, juniors?
I hope that I'm passing on the fact that being a volleyball player isn't your identity, but the person that you are on the court and the person you are to your team is so valuable, especially on a volleyball team because there's only 6 people out there that get to play. And you really have to take a step back and be like, okay, what can I do that's best for them? And I hope that's the legacy that I'm leaving is I want people to put others before themselves, and I want people to love on everyone, but don't forget about yourself on the way.
Well, Erica, thank you for sitting down with us, and I loved hearing everything you had to say about yourself and the sport and just your journey along the way. Back to you, Kelsey and Abby.
Thank you, Allie. And again, congrats to the women's volleyball team on a phenomenal season.
Absolutely. And Dirk Holdaway got us the inside scoop on men's basketball here at Sanford.
Thank you, Abby and Kelsey. The Sanford Bulldogs just played against the Jacksonville State Gamecocks and pulled out with a narrow victory of 81-77, despite being outscored in the second half 39-36. They finished the game with a 53% field goal average, a 43% three-point average, and an 82% free throw average. Those are some pretty good numbers, but even though they pulled out with a victory, they look to carry this momentum going down to the Mitchell Center in Mobile, Alabama to play the South Alabama Jaguars. The success of the Bulldogs this season comes from the players and the coaches. But one player who's been a standout so far this season has been Demetrius Dyson. He's a recent transfer from the University of Massachusetts. The Blitz caught up with him.
Right side. Denzel Dyson swings it to Cunningham, left wing. Cunningham drives the paint, kicks to Denzel Dyson, right side 3. Yes, sir! Demetrius Denzel Dyson does not quit.
Demetrius was a Covington, Tennessee high school standout. He knew what was ahead for him.
I had offers my 9th grade year from a lot of different schools, but my senior year I knew that I had to just take it to another level to get the offers that I wanted. So I committed to UMass my senior year, and I went there for 2 years.
First foul on Bridges, 5 of the team. The leg was missed, and nobody put a body on Demetrius Dyson.
Wow.
He was, what, 18 inches above the rim?
Look, he just hangs.
It was a great experience. I liked the school, I liked the coaches, but for me, it just didn't fit me for basketball.
He felt that UMass wasn't his style of basketball. He was so used to the up-style tempo where there was options for the wing, but UMass heavily revolved himself around the point guard.
After his sophomore year, made a decision that he was going to transfer. You know, when he got ready to leave, it was one of those things where he had some good programs recruiting him. I know he visited us, visited Chattanooga, Hofstra, you know, some very good, you know, what I'd call mid-major programs and stuff.
After transferring to Sanford, NCAA rules required him to sit out a year, so during that time, he trained.
You know, he was doing something that he had never done before. You know, he'd always played basketball his whole life, and so there's certain guys that sitting out, not being able to play games, you know, is not easy for him. And so I think as time went on, he sort of found his role, you know, where he could help us last year.
Sitting out a whole year allowed him to figure out his goals and what to do to pursue them.
For this upcoming season, I feel like we won't sell ourselves short, but I feel like we'll win a tournament and be able to play in the NCAA tournament.
After 8 games he has played as a Bulldog, coaches still believe he has yet to show his true potential.
And he's had a 40-point game this year. I still think as a staff, we feel like he hadn't even tapped his potential. I mean, he is a 6'6", you know, 215, just a very, very talented guard. And you know, he can dribble, he can really shoot the basketball, he can get to the rim, he can finish, and he can defend. There's not too much that he can't do.
So you're wondering, how did we get such a strong athlete, and why Sanford?
There's a reason he came here. When he left UMass, you know, he was in a situation there where he had a good program and where he was at a good program. And, you know, I think for Demetrius, he's here to help put Sanford on the map basketball-wise. And so we spend a lot of time talking about that. And, you know, there's no doubt that, you know, when his time's up here at Sanford, he's going to do some special things.
Demetrius knows that this is all a part of his plan, and he thanks God for the opportunity every day.
God and my family, most important in my life. So thanks to them, and we'll keep praying and we'll have a great season.
Thanks, Marquise.
Next, we have Johnny Richards coming up with the women's basketball season this far.
Thanks, Abby. And I'm here in the Pete Hanna Center where the women have had a great homestand thus far. They are 4-1 on the home court here in the Pete Hanna Center, where they have defeated opponents such as Memphis, Alabama A&M, Alabama State, UT Martin, and UAB as well. And that UAB game was actually this past Thursday, where in a very down-to-the-wire, exciting game, the women were able to pull it out 52-49 over the Blazers. Hannah Nichols led the charge on offense with 15 points, and she was not alone, as the offense was also helped by freshmen Fitzgerald and seniors Ellen Riggins and Brittany Stevens. Also this past week, we hosted Belmont, and unfortunately, the women came up just a little short. That offensive attack was led by Brittany Stevens and Hannah Nichols again, as well as Cassidy Blevins. Blevins actually has been one of the really bright spots for this offense and the team in general so far this season, as she has been the leading scorer for most of the season thus far, as the women have had a crazy schedule. They've actually traveled to Georgia Tech, Harvard, Rhode Island, as well as Kentucky, who's ranked nationally in the country. And that is about it from my end. Levi, over you guys with Hannah.
Hannah Nichols. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you this will be my mom's handshake right here. Boom,
okay.
Boom, boom, boom. There you go. Okay. How you doing today?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. You know, just walk you over to Brzezinski before I beat you in a quick game, real quick. But we'll get to that later.
Okay.
In due time. Word on the street is you used to be a baller back at Madison, one of the top players in the state. And then you decided to come to Sanford, and then you became a top player in the SoCon, winning SoCon Freshman of the Year. So just tell us about that quick transition that you had to make from high school to Sanford and how you made it so well.
It was a lot different. It wasn't easy. It was a little rocky at the beginning. Played a lot at first. Got exposed, found some things I need to work on. Started in the middle of the season, didn't really play. Really just with the encouragement from my teammates and the coaches believing in me, I worked hard and I got better. Earned my spot back on to play, and just worked hard and did everything I could.
Now you are in a position where you are the 6th man of the year, and I've seen you run with the second unit, and the best way to describe it is like you're like James Harden when he was with the Thunder. I mean, you're coming off the bench, you're averaging 14.2 points a game, you're the second leading scorer on the team, so just describe how you run that second unit.
I like to come in, provide a spark for the team, work hard. Really just anything I can do for the team, I'm 100% on board. Coming in, providing a spark, playing hard at all times, I feel like is just the most important thing, and it just happens to be working.
Ladies and gentlemen, now me and Hannah are here at Jesse. So I'm here to play a little quick game of dog. For those of you who might not know what dog is, it's basically the same concept of horse, except since we are the Samford Bulldogs, and this is Bulldog Blitz, we're going to play dog. So Hannah, let the realest dog win. Oh, okay.
Everybody's at the record hop, rocking at the record hop. Rocking at the record hop, baby. Baby. Rocking at the record hop. Rocking at the record hop. Baby. Rolling at the record hop. Rocking and rolling. Rolling and rocking. Rocking and rolling. Rolling and rocking. Rocking and rolling. Rolling and rocking. Rocking and rolling and rolling and rocking. At the record high. Your do-ba, 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 do-ya. Your do-ba, 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 do-ya. Your do-ba, 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 do-ya, do-ba. Everybody's at the record hop, record hop. Your do-ba, 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 do-ya.
That's about it for us. Thank you for having this time with me, Miss Nichols. Hannah Nichols, ladies and gentlemen. Levi Edwards. Thank you, and you're welcome.
Thank you, Levi. I know that we always look forward to your pieces.
Absolutely.
Well, I know that Christmas break is around the corner, and most of us are getting so excited to go home and see family and just sit around the tree. But sadly, our basketball team stays here, but they're troopers because they keep grinding.
They absolutely do, and Justin Anderson's going to tell us a little bit more about that.
Thanks, Abby. Both the men's and women's basketball team have some big games coming up this winter before they take themselves into conference play. But first, let's start with the men's. They will travel to South Alabama as well as Florida State in the next couple weeks. Florida State, a really big team out of the ACC, has some hosts this year. They went to NIT last year, but they were looking to make a run in the NCAA tournament. They will also get games against Florida A&M and Fort Valley State right before conference play starts in the SoCon. They will travel to University of North Carolina, Greensboro on December 31st to kick off the Southern Conference play, and their first home game will be against Furman on January 5th. Now, let's throw it to the women's side. They play some really big games this December. They will travel to Wake Forest and Georgia, both one team out of the ACC and one of the SEC, before they get some sun down in Florida. They will be playing in the Florida Gulf Coast tournament. Those teams are to be determined, and we'll wait on that. And then they open up their conference play against Chattanooga on January 4th at home. Chattanooga has won the last 4 Southern Conference titles, so Sanford's looking to maybe knock them off this year, and we'll see what happens there. So that's all we have. We wish the best of luck to these teams as they open up their conference play and try to make a run for another Southern Conference title. Back to you.
Thanks, Justin. Sanford basketball, we wish you the best of luck over Christmas break.
Well, I know that most seniors around here are worried about graduating on time, but others have a little bit more on their plate. They're looking at the NFL draft, and Stephen Poyer has a story.
Thanks, Abby. And that's right, this is the time of year where players start looking forward to the draft. The goal at the end of the day is to hear this magical music come spring. 2 of our players that have a chance at the NFL are Jamerson Blunt and Curl Hamilton. I'm going to be analyzing both. Jamerson is 6'1", 182. He's ranked as high as the 32nd best free safety and as low as the 36th. Considering he's from a small school, that's not too bad. Considering that this year was slightly a down year, that's also not too bad. CBS Sports and NFL Draft Scout is very high on him. He's got ideal height. He just needs to add some weight, bulk up in the weight room. And if he runs fast 40 time and performs well, that will help too. His best NFL comparison would be Deron Harmon of the New England Patriots. He's a backup free safety, but he's a rotational player, and he plays very well, and their skill sets are very similar. Deron excels at pass coverage, which has been a strength of Jamerson's for a long time in his career. Now we move on to Carell Hamilton. Carell is 6'1", 202, and a dominating power at receiver. He's ranked as high as the 62nd best wide receiver and as low as the 89th, according to CBS Sports and NFL Draft Scout. A fast 40 time would help him, but it's not going to hurt him too badly, considering everything that he's put on film. He has ideal size and ideal skill set for the NFL. His best comparisons as far as an NFL receiver would be Pierre Garçon of the Washington Redskins and Jarvis Landry of the Miami Dolphins. Garçon, much like Hamilton, is around the same size and is also from a small school. Both are acrobatic and punishing players once they have the ball in their hands. They don't shy away from contact. Jarvis Landry can be in the same mold. The only difference is Jarvis is slightly smaller than Carell, but he's just as electrifying. Landry loves physical contact. That being said, these are great people for Carell to aspire to. They didn't run their fastest 40s, which gives Carell a very ideal chance at the NFL. I'm wishing them the best as far as this year in the draft, and if not, hey, you can always join a team as an undrafted free agent. It's worked out pretty well for Michael Pierce, who plays for the Baltimore Ravens. He was ranked as the second to last defensive tackle this past year, and he's one of the better rookie defensive tackles in the league this year. You never know how things are going to work out. Good luck to our players, and back to you, Abby and Kelsey.
Stephen, thank you for that piece. And seniors moving forward with their career, we wish you nothing but the best of luck. And hopefully we'll get to watch a matchup with some former Bulldogs in the NFL.
And everyone knows Sanford football wouldn't be the same without Sanford cheer. I personally have grown to love one particular cheerleader, in fact, but Sam Bush has the story with the rest of them, so take a look.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Reagan Camp, the senior captain of the cheerleading squad here at Sanford, and we're just going to kind of dive into the Sanford Spirit program and talk about the cheerleaders and the dancers and all that they do for us here on campus and off campus. So, Reagan, what kind of is the difference between the cheerleading squad and the dance team? Because I know you're kind of under the same umbrella, the Sanford Spirit program. Can you kind of just tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, so the dancers have a little bit different role than the cheerleaders. The cheerleaders are more of a wide gamut of things that we do. So we stunt, we tumble, we do cheers and sidelines, whereas the dancers more so dance. However, they do have some sidelines that they will, chant during the game and stuff, and we'll do that together as well. But as a whole, we are one Spirit program that we cultivate a sense of unity on the campus, where we'll encourage people to come to the games or encourage our students and different things like that, but there are those differences between the two squads.
Okay, perfect. And what exactly does it mean to be a part of the Sanford Spirit program? What are the expectations you're held to, and what kind of responsibilities do you have?
So there are GPA requirements, just like other athletic programs are here at Sanford, and we have not only academic requirements, but we also have social requirements. We cultivate a sense of, Jesus died on the cross for us, and we live out our lives to glorify Him. And so we kind of encourage that with our girls and uphold the standards of Sanford University.
Perfect. Okay. And what kind of things do you do to support the Sanford teams that you cheer for?
Different things. I mean, it can vary depending on what team will go to the games. If we aren't able to cheer at that game, we cheer at the football games and the basketball games, the home games. We do get to go to some away games for football depending on certain circumstances. So just a wide gamut of different things.
Okay, great. And what kind of time span do you have for your seasons? I know you cheer football and basketball, so that's a wide range of things. But how often do you practice? What does that kind of look like?
So normally we practice 3 days a week, and on average 2 to 2.5 hours. So that can take up a good amount of time. But on top of that, we also have appearances in the community that will go and promote Sanford as a whole, but also kind of mix the community with the university aspect as well.
Very cool. And so gonna kind of switch gears here and talk about you personally. Like I mentioned before, you're a senior, you're a captain. You've spent your 4 years cheering at Sanford. How has that set you up for leaving Sanford and heading out into the real world?
So different things. Obviously, I have cheered my entire life, so been in the programs for a while. So that has prepared me for college, but what I didn't realize is that college was preparing me for the real world, like you're saying. And so a lot of different, circumstances that you wouldn't want to deal with, you learn how to deal with, and you learn how to deal with that in a manner that is upholding the standards that you live by, also that we cultivate in our program. And so just like any other sports program, you learn how to be a leader. You learn how to be a respectable, citizen, really. And adversity is thrown your way in different aspects, but you just go at it full force and say, I'm gonna, combat this. And cheerleading has been a facet for that, for sure, for me.
Great. Well, thank you for everything that y'all do on campus and off campus, and good luck the rest of the basketball season.
Thanks so much, Sam.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sam, and thank you to the Sanford cheer team for all you guys do on and off the field.
Anytime. Well, it looks like it's a final wrap for the Blitz, so.
God, it's just, it's been a great experience, and I'm glad I got to know you, Abs.
No, really. Brought a good friendship. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, if you guys ever want to make better friends, do a really, really hard project every week like we do.
In and out of class. So.
Yep. But for the last time, I'm Kelsey Royalty.
And I'm Abby Jones.
And thanks for tuning in.